Hello everyone. Welcome to our channel. This video will discuss how Vladimir Putin became such a power. If this is your first time visiting our channel, we ask that you subscribe to our channel before you continue watching this video. So, without any further delay, let's start today's video. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has rapidly become one of the world's most powerful and feared politicians. Before becoming the country's leader, he worked for years in Russian intelligence and local politics. Here's how Putin rose to power and why some Americans fear him. Early life and KGB career. Putin was born in Leningrad to a working-class family in 1952. His father is a manufacturing worker and decorated war veteran. Putin, an only child, grew up in a communal apartment with two other families, as was usual in the period in the Soviet Union. As a child, Putin enjoyed spy literature and television series. He inquired about joining the KGB security and intelligence service when he was still in school. People at the KGB headquarters advised him to work diligently and study law. Putin attended Leningrad State University and worked for 17 years as a mid-level foreign intelligence agent. During this time, he had an event that, according to some analysts, was a defining moment in his life. In 1989, an anti-communist crowd gathered outside KGB offices in Dresden. Putin recalled that the KGB warned him they couldn't do anything without orders from Moscow, and Moscow remained silent. As president, Vladimir Putin is renowned for his nationalism and patriotism, which date back to his upbringing. The beginnings of a political career. Putin formally resigned from the KGB's active reserve in 1991. He returned to Leningrad, now known as St. Petersburg, and worked for the city's first Democratic mayor, Anatoly Sobchak, his former law professor. Putin worked primarily in the shadows and maintained a low profile. According to reports, he was the one who made sure things got done, and Sobchak's indispensable man. According to Judah, Putin learned his political strategy from Sobchak, who was notorious for dictatorial tendencies. Putin remained faithful to Sobchak. Putin was offered employment when Sobchak was not re-elected as mayor. Putin declined, stating, "It is preferable to be executed for fidelity than rewarded for betrayal." Putin and his family migrated to Moscow in 1996. In 1998, he became the director of the FSB, the organization that succeeded the KGB. The then president of Russia, Boris Yeltsin, appointed Putin to this position. Newsweek said it was a position the president would have exclusively granted to his closest trusted advisors. Prime Minister appointment and first presidency. In August 1999, Yeltsin appointed Putin as Russia's fifth prime minister in less than 2 years. The prime minister is the second highest official in Russia, reporting to the president. And suddenly, almost out of nowhere, on New Year's Eve 1999, Yeltsin resigned and declared Putin acting president. In March, Putin won the election. Numerous individuals believed Yeltsin promoted Putin to the presidency to protect himself. His approval ratings were declining as the war in Chechnya, in which Russian soldiers were fighting secular separatists who desired the region's independence, deteriorated. Putin's first act was to pardon Yeltsin, granting him immunity from criminal or administrative inquiries and protection of his documents, dwelling, and other property. During his first time in office, Putin prioritized domestic concerns. He had two issues on his agenda: the war with Chechnya and the billionaires of the Yeltsin era. Putin inherited a particularly complex situation in Russia. The country was embroiled in a struggle with Chechnya, officially recognized as Russian territory. Moreover, oligarchs of the Yeltsin era were increasingly interested in strengthening their political power. Putin saw that the oligarchs of the Yeltsin era had the potential to be more powerful than him, so he made a deal with them. In 2002, 40 Chechen terrorists led by the warlord Movsar Baryayev seized a Moscow theater. Throughout the ordeal, 129 of the 912 hostages perished. This was a crucial time for Putin, and many predicted that his domestic popularity would drop. His harsh handling of the siege and reluctance to engage with the hostage takers enhanced his reputation as a man of action. His approval rating rose to 83% once all was said and done. Re-election. Putin was re-elected for a second term in 2004. He continued to focus on internal concerns, although his crackdown on the media received significant criticism. Anna Politkovskaya, a journalist who wrote about corruption in the Russian army in Chechnya, was assassinated in her apartment lobby in 2006. She was murdered on Putin's birthday, although he denied any participation, claiming that her death would cause Russia more harm than her reporting. Nonetheless, some Westerners chastised Putin for neglecting to protect the media. After Politkovskaya's death, a former FSB agent was poisoned in London. Despite all of this, Putin appeared to be generally well liked. During his first 2 years in office, Russia's gross domestic product grew by 70%, and investments increased by 125%. Putin's Russia was fortunate in that it relied heavily on oil. A second stint as prime minister, Dmitry Medvedev was elected president in 2008. The next day, he appointed Putin as the new prime minister. Then the global financial crisis occurred. The Russian economy was hit severely because it relied on Western investment. In addition, the problem revealed how dependent the Russian economy is on oil and gas and how entwined the industry is with the country's political economy. In the same year, Russia engaged in a 5-day international confrontation with Georgia and the regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, known as the Russo-Georgian War. Since the 1990s, the two areas have attempted to attain legal independence, and Western nations have opposed Russia's acknowledgement of their liberty. South Ossetia is still recognized to be formally part of Georgia, but Abkhazia is regarded as an independent territory. Current presidency term. For a 6-year term, Putin won his third presidential election in 2012. The election was contentious. The legitimacy of a third term was questioned, and detractors asserted that there was electoral fraud. Officially, Putin received close to 64% of the vote. Putin's annexation of Crimea in March 2014 was one of the most complex and contentious political maneuvers of the year, capturing the international community's attention. Viktor Yanukovych, the ousted pro-Russian president of Ukraine, sent a letter to Vladimir Putin requesting that Russia use its force to establish law and order in Ukraine. According to the New York Times, the Russian parliament granted Putin "broad authority to use military force in response to the political upheaval in Ukraine that ousted a Kremlin ally and installed a new, staunchly pro-Western government." The Ukrainian government in Kyiv threatened war if Russia sent troops deeper into Ukraine. On March 2, Russia assumed complete control over Crimea. Putin has recently been investigating a relationship with China, mainly because Russia needs additional commercial partners following the imposition of sanctions by the West. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please click the like button. If you want to see more such videos, click the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.